Hello, this is Carrie again, and I have today for you something super exciting. I finally have my Spectrum Noir review and giveaway. I purchased these Spectrum Noir pencils over the summer, and I'm finally ready to review them and to give them away. First is I have a new sponsor. How awesome is that? And I love Audible. I've been using Audible for a very long time, so I'm super excited that they have provided us with a link for the channel to help us grow and to help provide funding for the channel so that we can do more giveaways and we can do more exciting things. So that's pretty amazing. So today's video is brought to you by audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/coloring. And that's the special link. And by using the special link, if you were thinking about signing up for Audible, please consider using the special link for Coloring Carryout, because that will help the channel grow. And you'll get a free book and a 30-day free trial. And it's really a great way to support the channel. The channel is growing at an amazing rate, and I thank everybody so much for watching and so much for sharing videos, and I really wanted to thank you guys. So that's part of the reason why I decided to give these away. I purchased these with my own money, but I wanted to share them with you because you guys are amazing and you guys have been so great to me. So let's get started. First, we're going to talk about some general facts about these pencils. These pencils are described as professional grade pencils. They are absolutely positively wax based. These are not oil based. I'm not sure how that got started, but these are wax based. If you go to their website, they'll tell you these are wax based pencils. The pencils are made in China. They come in these sets of 24 pencils in these sets, and it looks like this when you get them. The pencils are available only as part of a set, and when you get the set, you can actually stack them on top of each other, and they tell you what colors are in the individual sets. These pencils do not come individually, so if you get into the Spectrum Noir, you will have to, and if you lose a pencil or whatever and you need to replace it, you will have to buy an entire set. They are absolutely positively not sold in open stock as of this point. And when the video posts, you'll see the link of the date of today's date. So that might change in the future. I can't predict the future, but as of right now, they are not sold in open stock. The pencils are... The color is just at the very end of the pencil. Hold on, let me get one out. So the color are just at the very end of the pencil. They are, and if you've seen my other reviews, you know that I definitely prefer to have the color all the way along the pencil. So that's something that is just part of how these pencils are, and they are what they are. But I definitely prefer to have the color of the pencil go all the way along the pencil. So that's a personal preference. That doesn't really affect how they color or how they work or anything along those lines. The wood feels to me of medium quality, the wood casing. I don't know if I can get that to focus. I may need to take this aside so that it'll focus on this. The wood feels of middling casing, middle quality casing. I think that the casing quality is definitely better than crayola quality cases, but not as good as the Polychromos or the luminance casing. That's to be expected, as these are kind of a mid-range product, so they are definitely, the quality that you get is definitely consistent with the price. The retail price is about $30 for each set of 24. The entire line has 120 pencils, and as they are only sold in the sets of 24, you have to go to their website or Amazon.com to see what colors come in your set. The names of the sets of each of the 5 sets are Essentials, Primaries, Marines, Florals, and Nature, and I believe that accounts for all sets. Even though the retail price is about $30, Amazon has them for $20 a set, so that you can get the complete collection for around about $100, give or take, depending, because you know Amazon price can go up and down. They are made in China, so that is just the general information about. Oh, the other thing that's a general information-y thing about these pencils is that they are divided into sets of 3s. So like these 3s would be light, medium, dark, and then these 3 would be light, medium, dark. However, even though they are divided into those sets of 3s, when you take the pencils out, so if you take the pencils out, there's nothing to let you know to put it back. So there's no marker within the pencil itself to tell you which number it is in the set of 3. So if you move them around from the original set that they come in, then this sort of set of 3 order doesn't really help you that much anymore, because you've changed the order that it came in. So it would have been nice if this was something that they wanted to do, if they had gone whole hog with them and either printed on it or let you know. The other thing I forgot to mention, and I'm glad I have my notes for this to remind me, is that the pencils do not have a name on them. It's up to you if you think that that's an issue. For me, that is definitely, that would definitely be an issue. And this isn't a matter of like price or me saying like, you know, Prismacolors or whatever are better, but if you look at the Crayola pencils, they print the color name on here. In fact, these are the only pencils I have or I know of that do not print the name on the pencil. I don't understand why. It's silly. They went through the trouble of printing the number. What's so hard about just adding the damn name on there? I don't understand that to me. So that's kind of a problem. So not only do they have the names not printed on here, they're not in an order. So as you can see, I picked these. You pick up more than 2 pencils and you end up putting them wrong in the wrong order, and this set of 3 thing just kind of doesn't really help you that much. That's me, that's personal. So I'm gonna pause for a second and get to the next stage of the review, which is how they actually color. All right, so I'm back. So we're gonna talk about how they color, but before we do, I'm gonna take a break to talk about Audible. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day free trial to check out their service by using the special, by using my special link. It helps provide funding for this channel. I love to listen to audiobooks, as I mentioned earlier. Right now, I'm currently listening to, and I can't even show you that I'm listening to because I'm filming with my cell phone. Right now, I'm currently listening to The Golem and the Genie, which is a book that I already listened to once. It's a really, really fun book. The reader is exceptional, so I totally recommend that you check out The Golem and the Genie. All right, so, and this is my special link, audibletrial.com/coloring. All right, so let's get started. How do these pencils actually color? All right, so the main thing that I thought was interesting, there were a number of things that I thought was interesting about these pencils. One of the things that, if you look at the packaging tells you that they're professional color pencils. I really don't know what they mean by professional color pencils. So that was weird to me. It's blendable for shading and 3D effects, and it gives you a fine point. Well, I'm not sure, you know, like if I'm paying $30 for a set of 24 pencils, they better damn well be blendable. So that's like saying they're pencils. I mean, yes, okay, they're blendable, but they should be blendable. So that seems weird to me, that they use that as a selling point. Like I was just like, okay, sure, they're blendable. Anyway, that was just like me being like me. I'm nitpicky, as you well know. So, you know, that's part of the reason why I do this, is because I am particularly nitpicky. So there will be some amount of nitpicking in the next few minutes. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is I want to show you how they color both on white and colored paper, as well as how they blend, because they say they're blendable. So I got my blending sticks out to see just how blendable they really are, and just how they compare to other pencils and their blendability. So this is how they work and how they layer. So part of the difficulty with these pencils comes in the fact that they don't have names. So I actually think that's kind of a fault, because by not having names, you have to put them in the set that they come in, or you have to memorize, or you have to constantly keep referring to the back that has the pencils, but so the whole thing is just really weird by not having the name. So you kind of have to do a lot of using of your scrap paper. So if you get these pencils, you're going to have a lot of scrap paper set aside so that you can test to see, you know, what it is that, you know, each individual pencil is. So if you want to pair, you know, pencils out, they're supposed to be in a set of 3s. So then you have to figure out, you know, is this the next one in the line, or is the other one? Okay, so I think that's the lighter version of that color. I think that's supposed to be the medium version, and then this is supposed to be the dark version of that color. But they kind of don't. But see, that's kind of it's a weird way to do things, and I think that it actually maybe takes away a little bit from the power of the pencils. But I think that kind of takes away a little bit, because then I find myself focusing more on how closely they match to the same tone than, you know, what I can do with the pencils. So for me, you know, like, I just look at the pencils and see how I can take, you know, a number of pencils and work with them. So these might not necessarily be the same color family. So like these two, they aren't, because one of them was in a set. So they're both sort of bluish purplish, but I don't have to worry about how closely they match. I can just put them on the paper and see what I can do with them. So that's something that I think is actually like, it's weird, and it almost doesn't really make sense. But anyway, so there's that. But let's get to the point that we're here for, and we are here for the blendability. So I have my two favorite dry blending methods, and I don't have a wet blending method with me because I personally don't use wet blending that much. I've explained in the past that I have very low vision, so I often, when I'm not doing reviews, I'm like right here, you know, like this is how, you know, the paper is really close to me. So doing that with, you know, Gamsol or odorless or paint thinner, it's just not a good idea. So, but anyway, let me see how they blend. And I haven't done this test. And this is the Spectrum Noir blender pencil. So, you know, I mean, it did okay. So it definitely, you know, it did okay. And then this is the Prismacolor blender pencil. So, but a lot of times these blending tests are really, the way that they work best, I think, is if we compare them to other brands and see across brands how they work. So let me get my Crayolas out. This is a Prismacolor and Crayola. Where's my other Crayola? All right, this is a Crayola, and I think this is also a Crayola. All right, so I got my 3 Crayolas out. So I'm gonna do it on this page because this is white. So this is the Crayola. Sorry, usually I have these colored up beforehand, but I actually lost a sheet that I had colored this in beforehand, and I couldn't find it. And I said, no, you guys have been waiting a few days for a video. I think the last video was like 3 or 4 days ago. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna, you know, waste time looking for it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. So the bottom here, and then the top here. So I hope you can see that. So, and then the top here. So, and then tried to do the same thing with the Crayola, the same thing here on the white paper. Just really quickly do this on the white paper. Just be super quick with this because, you know, this probably should have been done already. Like I said, I just wanted to get this review out for you guys. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the Prismacolor blender pencil. Now, to me, this is just my opinion, but to me, I feel like the Crayola does a better job of moving that color around. But the Crayola also has other faults, such as the leaving that residue behind. So, to me, I feel like it's not, you know, blendability wise, it's really not the best of all the pencils that I've used. I'm going to do something that's slightly unfair and compare it to the Polychromos Just slightly unfair, but you know, whatever. Life isn't fair, as they say. Isn't that what they say? So that's kind of what they say. They say that life isn't fair. All right. So you saw how they blended here with this was the Caran d'Ache blender pencil. So I'm going to use the Caran d'Ache blender pencil up top. And you see how the Polychromos definitely moves that color around more. And it sort of depends on what you like, because I like for the color to move around a fair bit, because that helps me to get a more realistic look. And the Prismacolor blender pencil really moves that color around. Like, whoa, that's some serious moving color around. But then if we look at the quote-unquote blendable, they don't really move the color around that much. And I'm going to do it again for you just to show you. Let's put the gray on this side. And blue on this side. This other blue on this side, just to show you. All right, so then, as you can see, it doesn't really move the color around the same way that the that it does with the other pencils. That's just my personal opinion, but you know, there you have that. So the next thing to talk about is how they layer, and I want to show you how they layer on the non-white paper so you can see the effect of the layer really nicely. So they do layer quite nicely. The color intensity is not as, so you can see from the blending sheet that we just worked on together, you can see that the color intensity is you know, it's probably closer to the crayolas than the Polychromos. But price-wise, it's closer to the crayola than the Polychromos. So let me show you that this was, so let me do it one more time so that we can see it all, you know, the same way. So we know that we're looking at the same sections. So, okay, so that was that one. We have this, so this is more Spectrum Noir. So again, we have the Spectrum Noir right here. And then I'm gonna take the Crayola. So this is the white Crayola. I don't have a set of the gray Crayolas. I really wanna get a larger set of Crayolas, and I just haven't gotten around to it because I've been so busy, you know, working on the channel and doing all sorts of other stuff. So I just haven't gotten around to going to the store and finding myself a nice big set of the color pencils. I really want to get the Color Escape sets because I think you guys would like for me to review that. But I just haven't gotten around to it. So all right, so then I can show you here that the color intensity is, it's, you know, it's not that the color intensity is poor, it's just not as much as I had hoped. So if you see this, and this is me pressing super hard. Like I would not color pressing that hard. You know, it's part of it is problematic because I want to compare like a black to a black. You know what I did with the other videos, I compared a black to a black and then a green to a green. But because these sets come in those but because they don't really come in the regular sets, it's kind of hard to do that. So this is a little bit off, you know, the white versus the blue, it's a little bit off. But you can see the Spectrum Noir right here. You can see the Spectrum Noir right there, and then you can see the Crayola right next to it. And then if I take, and this will be a much better match, is if I take this is a Polychromos, and then my other Polychromos, this will be a much better match. And you can see that the color intensity is really not comparable to the Polychromos. I mean, but it's, you know, as I said earlier, it's kind of not fair because the Polychromos is a much higher price range. So so there's that. So that's it with how they color and how they blend. And now I'm gonna take a break real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and get my eraser out and start erasing. Oh, I have my eraser right here, so I don't even need to take a break. So let's start erasing and see how they erase. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm just gonna take this and just go across here and see how it erases this out. And if you've seen my video on layering, or if you've seen how I've done my eraser videos, you see that I do use erasing technique a lot for highlights and shadows, highlights basically, but so that's why erasing matters. And then we compare that to the crayolas, and they definitely erase a lot better than the crayolas. The crayolas don't do nothing. That looks the same as before with the crayolas. The Polychromos definitely does not erase as much as the Polychromos. So in terms of erasing, it actually does a really, really good job. I think the lighter tones, the Polychromos probably did better, but for the darker tones, this did better. So so we've gone through a whole bunch of stuff, and I hope that you guys have been able to follow along. I'm just gonna do a quick summary for you. We did with how they laid down the color. Then we compared how they blend. So these have both been blended. And then finally we compared how they erase. So if you can see the close-up of how they erase, they definitely erase way better than the crayolas, which did nothing. And I think the Polychromo, the gray got out better, but the darker color got out better with the Spectrum Noir. So I guess it compares more to the Polychromos. Oh, and I have the Prismacolors. I'm sorry, I have the Prismacolors here too, that I intended to compare them to the Prismacolors as well. So let me just do the Prismacolors real quick right here. So let me get my other Prismacolor. Problem with the Prismacolors is that they kind of look slightly similar to the Crayolas, but okay, here's the Prismacolor. So I'm gonna very quickly go through the everything with the Prismacolor. So I'm gonna just do a large line here with the Prismacolor and just very quickly go through everything that we just did with the Crayolas. So first thing we did was we compared the Caran d'Ache blender pencil. That was the first thing we did. So here's the Caran d'Ache blender pencil. The Caran d'Ache blender pencil, if you saw my other video, is not my favorite blender pencil. And then we did the Prismacolor blender pencil, and you can see that I love the Prismacolor blender pencil. So I'm just powder out, and then finally we did the erasing. So we did the erasing, and the Prismacolor never impressed me in terms of the erasing, and it doesn't impress me now. So there's that. So that's what we've gone through. You know, the main sort of features, and a lot of the rest of this is emotion and how you feel about it. But so there's that. So I'm going to take a quick break now, and then I'll come back with my conclusions on this. Hello, so I'm back for some final conclusion and some final thoughts. The folks at Spectrum Noir have produced an interesting pencil that is priced very middle of the road, and its quality is very middle of the road. It's not spectacular, but it's not terrible either. It's in accordance with the price, and I think that it's priced accordingly. The only thing to keep in mind is that, you know, as you saw in my other video that I did on getting the pencils at the best deal, is that the manufacturer's suggested retail price is often inflated, and that you can often get much better deals if you look around at places. I think in the case of these, because these aren't, even though they're called professional pencils, I don't know, there's no light fast rating. It's strangely colored, but there's other reasons too. Even though they're called professional, I think they're closer in comparability to the Crayolas than pretty much any of the other brands. The only thing that I think maybe is better than the Prismacolor is the fact that the Prismacolors, the point wears down extremely quickly. You can see this point wearing down, and although it does wear down fairly quickly with the Spectrum Noir, it's definitely not as quickly as with the Prismacolor. This can also handle a much sharper point than the Prismacolor without the risk of breaking. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I don't know with these pencils, so that's part of why I think they're priced like they are. I don't know if they're bonded from the core to the tip, and if you saw some of my other reviews about how pencils are made, and especially in the Prismacolor review where I talked to you about how the pencils are made, I don't know how the bonding is, so the bonding will affect how easily the pencils break. So with the Polychromos and many other brands of pencils, the core of the pencil is bonded to the actual wood casing from tip to tail, and that prevents the pencil from having excessive breakages, and it also can sort of control breakages in that way. I don't know if the pencils are bonded. I don't know what their light fast rating is. If they don't, at this price point and the fact that they don't list a light fast rating, I'm going to say they're probably not light fast. So in that sense, they're probably more comparable to Crayolas than some of the other artist brands. Certainly more comparable to Crayolas than Polychromos or anything along those lines. But they are, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Crayolas are really very good pencils. So in that sense, I consider them to be a high-end Crayolas. I mean, that sounds really bad, but it's not. It's not intended to be an insult at all. If you've seen my other videos, I love Crayolas. I have a set of Crayolas. As I mentioned earlier, I want to get more Crayolas. So I think that they're higher end Crayolas. The problem with these comes in just some strange choices that they make, and I think that with those subtle changes, I think that this could have been a much better pencil. The other reason that I think that they're closer to Crayolas than maybe other brands is not only the price, but also the size of the lead. And if you compare, I'm going to see if it's possible for you to see the size. I think I've spent long enough trying to get it to focus on the right part, but I hope that you can see. Maybe if we compare these two, and I hope that you can see that the pencil lead size is actually, it's not a large lead. It's not a tiny lead. I think the lead is about the same size, maybe slightly bigger than the Crayola lead, the gray one. Oh, the gray one is definitely better for showing you the size difference. So I may do some editing to take out the part of me milling around, but if you can see that there is a size difference between the lead size and the Polychromos and the Spectrum Noir. So these aren't pencils, these aren't bad pencils, but these are you get what you pay for pencils. These are not the best pencils that you can buy. They're not the worst pencils that you can buy. They're definitely in accordance with the price. So, but assuming that you don't actually pay $39.99, that you don't actually pay $30 a set, I'm going to assume that you're paying about $20 or less a set. And if you're paying about $20 or less a set, I say if you're going to get 2 or 3 sets, then that's definitely a very, very good way to go. But if you start to consider getting all 5 sets, then I would really look at the Polychromos, because at that price point, they really are, $100 will get you 60 Polychromos. And I think that one of these is worth about half as much as a Polychromo pencil. So I think that at that point you may as well look at the Polychromos, because the lead is bigger. You get more pencil. You get light fastness rating. There's the strange choices are not made with the Polychromos. You get better erasability. You get much better color intensity. So if you're looking at getting all 5 sets, then I would advise against it. And I would say, instead of getting all 5 sets, get yourself the 60 set of Polychromos, and you'll be much happier. If, however, you just want to get 1 or 2 sets, so if you just want to get the marine set, or you just want to get the floral set, and you want to just do that 1 set, then I think that these are really a nice way to go, especially if you're used to using Crayolas and you want something that's a little bit better than Crayola, but you don't really have $100, or you don't really want to spend $100, then these are really a nice way to go. So that's my recommendation for these. Get 1 or 2 sets, at most 3 sets. But once you start looking at 4 and 5 sets, I would say pass on these and get yourself some Polychromos, and you'll be much happier. But if you have $40 to spend and you want pencils that are nicer than Crayolas, then yeah, definitely get these. There's no hesitation in my recommending these for getting yourself 1 or 2 sets. Just make sure you go to the website and you look at what sets they have and what sets they don't have, and you choose accordingly. So there's that. So I'm going to take another break, and I'm going to come back with some conclusions and how to win. So in order to win, you have to be in the USA, you have to be a subscriber, and you have to comment below. And if you do that, you let me know what your favorite marine animal is. You'll be entered to win this. The drawing is going to take place December 2nd. So you have until December 2nd, 2015, Eastern Standard Time to subscribe. And then that will enter you to win. So let me know what your favorite marine animal is. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for staying with me. And I appreciate all the viewers and everyone who's been so great. And good luck on the contest, and we'll see you next time. There are more contests coming. Yes, more contests coming. How cool is that? There's going to be a contest on my Instagram page. So if you haven't already started following me on Instagram, start following me on Instagram, because the contest will be Instagram exclusive. And we've already announced the winner for the Lost Ocean. So don't worry about it if you missed that giveaway, because that giveaway has passed. But there's more giveaways. There's this one, and there's the upcoming contest. So that's it. So until next time, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you want to help support this channel, please do. Please consider leaving a tip. Consider getting a trial, a free trial on audible.com, or consider just subscribing and sharing with your friends, because that helps too. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time, and good luck. Oh my god, I love giveaways. All right, I'll see you next time.